Good evening, everyone. It's Eric with His&Hers HHQ. Couple of quick updates. This is going to be for Sunday's video. Okay. So first off, I have to. I'm absolutely dumbfounded. I am pleasantly surprised. Someone offered a can of primer, to me a primer, when I was running into all those issues. And I was surprised that, it was just one of those, I'm grateful. And that happened to show up in the mail today. But I didn't get just one can of primer. I got two. One white and one gray. Now, I have to say thank you to the really kind words, Dave, and I'm blown away. The only other word for it is flabbergasted. I'm floored by your kindness, because it was a bigger box than I anticipated for a single can of primer, let alone two. And wow. I haven't built something like this since I was a kid. And this one, 1991 monogram, as released by Revell. Wow. That would be about the time frame I built the last car like this. Wow. Holy cow. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Stick around to the end of the video, and I've got a shout out to do. But real quick, I'm going to get into this. Obviously, these here are up. I used all 5 of these colors, and I don't think I did too bad. But before I show you, I'm going to talk about this. All right, so let me see here. This is the hinge idea I've got worked out thus far. As you can see, I've got my tape holding the deck lid in place. But so far, this is the hinge idea. I've actually opened the deck lid a little bit. I mean, to me, it's holding the tape, so it was a little sticky. But this opens quite well right there. The only thing I'm thinking, once I get the other one, the other piece on this side, is I may actually have to use that piece in the center or something much like it, in order to maintain a strong bond with the back of the deck lid. Maybe. because that seems to be pretty tight just as it is. So I'm thinking that's what I may go with there. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's functional and it works. And it'll be on the inside of the car, and nobody will see it. I will be the only one that knows it's there. Okay, except for all of you that are watching this video and the next couple of videos getting this done. So we'll be the only ones in on that little secret. Okay, on to the figures. Remember, when you judge, okay, you can be harsh. I can take a hit. It's no problem. But remember, I have never done a figure anything bigger than 1/72 scale, and that was only when I was a kid. I tried to avoid figures at all costs. I don't think they turned out too well. I mean, practicing what I preach, building for myself, I think I did a pretty daggum good job for my first try. So, that being said, here they are, Mr. and Mrs. Doe. Oh, wait, well, I guess you guys would like to see them, wouldn't you? Let's do this one at a time here. So there are multiple layers of blue in the pants, and a couple of different layers and coats of paint for the shirt. The only thing I have left to do, they've been dry brushed. Flat coated. The only thing left is to do do my wash and pick out the shadows and all of that, and fix some of these little mistakes somehow that happen. I'm not going to worry about his butt, but anyway, yeah, so they've been flat coated. I'll add a little bit more detail here and there. The washes will cover up what is visible, I guess you could say, and really pick out the details there, and give the shadows and the depth of character. I don't think it turned out too bad, actually. Now, I actually really like the way she turned out there, especially considering I'm using craft acrylics. And nobody will see this part when she's sitting in the car, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I think a good solid wash, and maybe some dry brushing to really bring out those extra details. The wash to get the recesses, get the shadows, and the dry brushing to pick out the raised detail. But I don't think that turned out too bad for my first set of figures. And they actually look pretty good sitting with each other. But anyway, so yeah, just a little bit of extra work here and there. I was going to do the wash on camera, but I will actually do that off camera because I want to get the well, I want to get back to work on the car so I can get this primer on it, which I can't say thank you enough for. No, there was so much I was going to say. Oh, yes. Over on Facebook, we just posted a series of photos, not much, but just a series of photos of reference material. Photos kind of like this one, and well, even this one. So be sure you get over there and check them out. Save them for reference material. That Chevy pickup, it's a custom flatbed. I was told by the owner that's a 1950 Chevy 3600. It originally a stake bed truck. And the original bed is still sitting in the barn where the truck was located. I figured I like that truck so much that one of these days I'll get my hands on a couple more of those 50 Chevy 3100s because the bodies are exactly identical. So I really want to kind of recreate that. I really like the look. The other one is a 56 GMC. It's a GM product. I think it was a GMC. It's either GMC or Chevy. But it's a 56, and that big old flatbed on it. It's all original except for the engine, according to the owner. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then on that trip down to Springfield, my daughter requested a pit stop at one of the rest areas off the interstate there. And it was a Missouri Information Center also. And there were all these great vintage photos, Route 66 and whatnot. And I just had to have a photo of the wrecker with the car and the service station. I thought that was extraordinary. That is a really beautiful scene. It's kind of like well, you get that feel for the realism to take your models to the next level. And so that's why I wanted to get that as a picture, but that's why I wanted to share it with everybody else. So speaking of Springfield, while we were down there, my daughter and I found kind of a smaller hobby shop outfit kind of thing called Hobbytown. I got their business card with their web address right here. Be sure you check these guys out. I think you can go to the hobbytown.com and whatnot. They are really reasonable on their kits. Like, as a matter of fact, autoworldstore.com, I do, in the ease of going there to get a kit, and pardon me, is just something I can't even begin to express. But I don't know what was going on here, but when I showed up, they weren't having a sale, but they had the dozer with the lowboy and 1/25th scale combo, which I really am just suddenly regretting sharing with you guys because I want that kit. and they had theirs. I think theirs was like $71 maybe, and Auto World stores like 94. Which I couldn't understand. But so when I say they're reasonable, they've got a pretty good collection of stuff in the way of um, plastic models, supplies, paints, you name it. They've got a really good collection. Sci-fi, armor, aircraft, vehicles, anime. They've got it. And they've got paints and brushes to cover each and every subject also. Definitely check them out. And yeah, it's definitely worth a look-see. Again, I'm not ragging on anybody. I just thought that was really weird that, you know, anyway, I apologize. I'm like all over the place there, but I added another card. I was going to get some video, but my daughter looked at me like, really, Dad? And I was like, okay, fine. But yeah, it was great. So yes, here we are. This is where we're at with this stuff here. And I think the wash, I'm going to use the chestnut and like maybe 2 parts chestnut or 3 parts chestnut, 1 part black, and maybe 2 parts barn red to just break it up just a little bit and use that as a wash, primary wash for both of them. And once the wash is almost dry, then of course clean up as best as possible, leaving it in the recesses so that you keep the shadow, and then do the dry brushing on it, and then I'll set them aside. What I am hoping is Wednesday's video, I will have prime on the body. So I'm going to finish assembling the other hinge point and then see if that holds the deck lid the way I expect it to. If not, I will have to put in a center point, which will irritate me, but I will get it done. So hopefully we'll have all of that done and primed and ready for paint by Wednesday. I was struggling a little bit because I can see the finish line for this build. As long as I can get the airbrush to work with me, look, I've still got things in the mail, are on the way. I don't know where they're at in the mail, but they're on the way. That way I can have all the chrome done and whatnot. I'm going to try and keep pushing to get the airbrush to work with me because I really want this turquoise, so I'm going to keep pushing it with this airbrush and make sure I can get some color. I'm hoping within the next week and a half, I will have the car done. Which brings me to the next build. And I have been struggling to come up with something, what could I do that is my philosophy of just because that's what's in the box doesn't mean that's what has to come out of the box. Well, pardon me. Hold on just a second. Okay, going through my stash, I came across a kit that I had completely forgotten that I had. So this whole time I'm sitting here, like, just, kicking myself in the butt. What could I possibly do? Something that's weird and outlandish. Kind of like Frankenstein's monster. My Phantom Van Scratch Bash build. I'm serious. Go back and check the, you can even just look at the reveal video. If you want, you can go through and look at the process. But yeah, definitely check out the reveal. It's the AMT Phantom Ford Phantom Van Scratch Bash. I call it Frankenstein's monster. Sometimes I call it a Vuck. Well, that's van truck. It just combined my 16-year-old at the time son. He's 17 now. It's a whole joke thing. You'll see it in the videos. So I was thinking about Frankenstein's monster, and I started thinking about Dracula's Hers, and I'm going, well, I'm still working out how I'm going to raise the roof on that to fit the casket, because you have to have a casket. Gotta have the casket because the count needs someplace to rest. So I'm sitting there racking my brain, and I came across this kit that I had in my stash, and I went, huh. So the teaser is this one. This is going to be, just because that's what's in the box, doesn't mean that's what's got to come out of the box. So be sure you stay tuned and check that out. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Again, thank you, Dave. And I'm Eric with His&Hers HHQ. If you haven't yet, head on over to Facebook. Follow us at His&Hers Hobby Headquarters. Take a moment, like, subscribe, share, comment below. I do try to interact with everybody that comments. So yeah, I try to be interactive. I'm Eric. Have a good night.